Corriverton. Good afternoon, PPP family. Are we ready? To the comrades out on the road, please come in and let us be prepared to welcome our Vice President and our General Secretary, the champion of the earth, as he arrives. Let's give him a PPP Corriverton welcome. President and our General Secretary. Comrades, I once again welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. First of all, allow me, as General Secretary of the party, to thank you for being here. We've always counted on you, the people of our country, to do the right things. And throughout our history, it's because of your strength and because of your diligence and your hard work, this country is growing more and more prosperous by day. So I was hoping that Ashni Singh would speak longer because I'm hoping to save my voice. Tomorrow I have to speak at a rally in Bartica, and then the following day at Bat Settlement, and I spent Tuesday and Wednesday on the Essequibo Coast and spoke in those 2 days at 23 meetings. And so Ashni could have spoken a bit longer today. Nevertheless, I wanted to be here in Corriverton, and I'm going to tell you a few stories. And I hope from the stories you'd be able to glean some lessons about our past and things that we must avoid. So first of all, it's a very different time. I remember 2015, I was out of politics, having left office because of term limits, and I had decided not to come back into politics. But we had lost the majority in Parliament in 2011. So although Ramatar was president, APNU AFC had a 1-seat majority in the Parliament. And they used that majority to block every progressive thing that we sought to do. The country in those 3 years, from 2012 to 2015, had started to decline. They cut some $90 billion from the budget. They refused to approve money because they had control over the Parliament for basic things. And then in 2015, I came back and we campaigned heavily. But people across the country had a different view. I was in Essequibo, I told you, on Tuesday and Wednesday, and I met some women there, and they remember the meeting I had that one night with about 600 rice farmers. in Essequibo. And the rice farmers were told by Nagamotu and Ramjatan and many others from the AFC and APNU that we were cheating them, that they were going to get $9,000 a bag for paddy, that the Petro-Caribbean funds belonged to them. And many of them, no matter what we said, we couldn't convince them otherwise that it was a lie. And many of them stayed home. Many of them voted for APNU AFC. The consequences were we lost the elections. Here too in Berbice, I remember talking to sugar workers when Nagamotu and Rambutan went to a rally at WIM, and they promised to expand the sugar industry. They said we were spreading rumors that they would close the industry, and people believed them. And here too, many sugar workers voted for APNU and AFC. And the consequence is that we lost the elections with devastating impact on people. So what's the lesson? What's the lesson from all of this? The lesson is that around election time, any political party can say what people want to hear. They come up with all sorts of promises and messages to fool people into voting for them. Some of them have no intention whatsoever on delivering on those promises. And many among our midst, they hear we are going to pay $100,000 in cash grants, and APNU says $400,000. And many believe that they would actually get $400,000. They're dreaming. And we've seen once again from every political party now contesting the elections, these wild promises. So our people have to be clever. We can't be bitten twice by the same lies. They have to understand that the only trustworthy party, the party that delivers on its promises, is the People's Progressive Party. Ashni Singh told you about all the things we promised. And we have kept our promises. From 2020 to now, we ensured that every single promise we made was kept. The next thing is about democracy, freedom. If we did not win the elections in 2020, this country would have been like Venezuela. Venezuela produces 3 million barrels of oil per day, or used to produce 3 million barrels of oil per day. But what happened? It didn't have food for its people because of bad government, bad decisions, and loss of democracy, freedom. So we have to ensure when you vote on the 1st of September, you're voting to protect the freedoms that Chedi Jagan fought a long time to restore in this country. And you're fighting to protect the freedom that we nearly lost in 2020 in those 5 months when we had to fight tooth and nail to ensure that we foiled the plans that they had to steal the elections. They used every trick in the book. They thought they would overrun us, that we'd be weak. But the people in this party, we are resilient and we are strong, and we fought them off. And today we are a free country because of that. I remember in 2015, when we lost the elections, people from Berbice, from Essequibo, from right across the East Coast, they showed up at my home late in the night. Minibuses came. Many of them were crying. And they said to me, there'll be no hope again in Guyana. We'll never win again. Because they knew instinctively the nature of the PNC and APNU. They said to me, these people are going to never come out of office because they will try to rig elections again. And they knew them, and they did try to rig the elections again. But I said to them, no, we're going to take the next 5 years from 2015 to 2020 to strengthen the party. We'll walk across this country and rebuild one person at a time. And when the time comes, we're going to be strong to fight them off, and we fought them off in 2020. So this is a party that has always stood on the side of people and on freedom. And we must never, ever take that freedom for granted. It's worth defending because you're defending it for next 100 generations to come. And we have seen the consequences of its loss. We have had 5 tough years. Tough years, although we've been in government, we've been every single day on the road. We have been in offices working. We've been on the streets getting projects going. We've been raising the financing to get these projects going. We've been conceptualizing new projects. We have been busy fulfilling the promises we made. And guess what? We had to do this almost in 3 years because the first 2 years of our term were lost to COVID. You remember COVID. Today, many people don't even remember that when we took office, that the country was shut down. The day Irfan Ali was sworn in on August 2nd, the country was shut down. We'd lost 35,000 jobs before August 2nd in the 5 years under APNU. And when they shut the country down, we had lost another 35,000, about 70,000 jobs because people could not go to work. And the first meeting we had was at the convention center. And we met with the health personnel. And they were building a COVID hospital, but they didn't have a single bed in it, no oxygen, nothing, no facilities there. We were doing 40 tests per day, and you needed to do 5,000 tests per day. And within 1 month, we put the beds in, we put in oxygen, we started doing more tests, we brought vaccines, and we kept our people safe for almost 2 years. We did not expect that. We thought we'd have a full 5 years to work. We didn't expect to have to come into government and face COVID, but we did. And in spite of COVID, we have fulfilled our promises that we have made, the many, many promises. Not just to the children. Ashley Ting told you $11 billion more in the pockets of parents because we put back the Because We Care grant to the children. But we double old age pension from $20,500 to $41,000. That put in the pockets of the pensioners nearly $20 billion more per year. We also increased public assistance. That's another $7 billion more per year. Just add the three, and you will see that that's nearly $40 billion more per year. going to the people of this country that was not there in 2020. 60,000 people more working, earning $100 billion more per year meant that they could feed their families once again. The public servants increase was by $120 billion per year. 50,000 house lots, 39,000 scholarships, although we promised 20,000. We returned the joint services grant, the bonus, the 1 month tax-free bonus. Ashni Singh told you about all the taxes. We not only remove all the taxes they had put in place, but we kept our promise of no new taxes in the 5 years that we've been in office. These are just some of the things that we did. And so, what are we going to do in the next 5 years? But before I talk about that, we didn't expect COVID, and we didn't expect the war in Ukraine between Russia and Ukraine. And what happened because of that war? The price for fuel globally skyrocketed. When COVID took place, the factories around the world were shut down. The world was shut down. Cost of living went up. The prices for shipping containers to Guyana moved from $3,000 per container to $20,000 US per container to ship it from China. The people who are producing oil that we import, they increased the prices by 300% in that period. And what did we do? We said we didn't want the impact of these price increases on people. So we looked at 6 things that affect people. Electricity prices, because that will increase your cost of living if you have higher electricity bill, higher water bill, higher internet bill, mortgage rates and transportation costs, and then food prices. 6 areas we looked at. What did we do? We now subsidize electricity at $80 million per year to keep your electricity bill the same as it was in 2020. There was no increase. Although fuel prices increased, people didn't have to pay more for electricity in the 5 years. We then subsidized water, billions of dollars more, so there was no increase of water prices in the 5 years. Every gallon of gas or diesel people buy now, there is a $560 Guyana dollars subsidy on it, so that we could keep the price of gas and transportation down. We reduced the mortgage rates for those who had mortgages. And then the internet, we liberalized telecommunication so that the internet prices either came down or you were getting more bandwidth for the same price. The only area we were not successful in was food prices, because even the things that we produce in Guyana, some of the prices went up. And we don't control the price of bora or squash or cassava in the market. I was saying that. But that was what a government of our nature would have done, because APNU would have done that. This is how we approach the issue of cost of living. And why am I telling you all of this? Because I want you to understand what will happen in the next 5 years. In these 5 years, we said we promised world-class health, and that's why we're building 12 new hospitals around the country, 2 in this Barbie. We promised world-class education, and that's why we made UG free, and now we're paying for 8 subjects CXC and CSEC. So that parents don't have to pay for tuition or exam any longer. In the next term, we intend to increase the Because We Care grant. We intend to give a transportation grant for every child so that they would help their parents. We intend to introduce a school feeding program so our children could have a nutritious meal in school. So we can take away the burden of funding education from any family now, because you can get help to pay their passage to school. They would get the Because We Care grant, already the free material in school. They don't have to pay for their exams. They don't have to pay for tuition at any level. So parents do not have to worry about the education of their children. In the next term, in the health sector, we'd have to find the best specialists and personnel to man these hospitals, the new ones we're building, because we need 6,000 people to work in these 12 hospitals and rehabilitate the others. But you will see a major improvement in preventative medicine and even assistance in tertiary care at the health sector, so that our people have to spend less on health and their health needs, especially older people. In housing, we're going to ensure that everyone who needs a house lot gets a house lot. We're going to help people to build. We're going to help people to improve their homes in the next term. In all these communities, in every community across the country, we've heard people, we're fixing the roads and the highways, but they want more in their villages. They want safer communities, and so every community will start doing concrete drains in these communities. Now that we've fixed the concrete roads, we'd have to put street lights in every community, because we've already bought 100,000 of those. Only 4,000 have arrived so far. We're going to put security cameras in every community. We're going to ensure that every one of the playgrounds, we have about 125 in Berbice, that every one of those have lights, proper facilities, so day and night the children and the older people in the community can use these places for recreation. We have to invest in better garbage collection. We have already started doing that, so that people can live in cleaner communities, safer communities. They can raise their families in these places. These are the things we return to. We have to make sure people have more money in their pockets. So old age pension will increase, public assistance will increase, the part-time workers will see an increase. The SIP workers will see an increase. All of those people who work for government will see increased wages and salaries. And we'd also have decided we'll create a development bank so that young businesses can then get zero interest loans, so they can start many small businesses, those who want to start that. So we can create more jobs, better paying jobs for people in their communities. In this region alone, the project that Ashni mentioned, that we're doing, the canals, would open up 30,000 acres of land that we'll be able to give to new people to go into farming. Right here, we have 26,000 acres at Skeldon, the old Gaisuko project, and we have maybe another 40,000 acres among some of the co-ops in the Crabwood Creek area. we intend to build a road from Molson Creek all the way to Oriala to open up more lands and then get all of these lands into agriculture. All of it. Open up about 100,000 acres of land right here, generating jobs, doing agro-processing, maybe building a warfare to ship right out from the quarantine. This is about jobs, more jobs, better paying jobs for people in their communities. We would have to work here in this region at expanding the infrastructure. Some of you may have already seen work started on the highway, but we're spending now over $500 million to build a 4-lane from Molson Creek all the way to New Amsterdam and to the new bridge, 4-lane bridge that will be built. The project has already been awarded. Within 2.5 years, you'll be able to drive here all across and then across a high-span bridge in the Berbice River that wouldn't have to open, and it too will be toll-free, like we made the other bridge toll-free. You're going to have your own stadium here in this region. You're going to have many more sporting facilities, more support to agriculture in a major way, more support to training. Ashley told you about the training college we built here at Port Moran, so that many young people and others can be trained even in the hospitality sector to staff the 12 new international hotels that are being built now in Guyana that will need about 6,000 new people to work in those hotels. This is what will happen in the next term. We will invest more in people. These are some of the things you should read about. Now, we have put a lot of these things in the flyer because we have a comprehensive plan for the future, but we have circulated a 4-page flyer. I want each of you to read that, because when you read it, you will see what we're going to do in the next 5 years. And you know, once the People's Progressive Party says it will do it, then it will be done. That's what's going on. There are some risks to this all. So let's come back to the lessons now. Now that I talk to you a bit about what will happen in the future, and you can read a bit more about it. So what's the risk to this, to us? The risk is that, again, people being misled. So one of the things you hear most often now from the other side who's campaigning, they say, we're oil producing country, but how come we still have poverty? And my answer is, if you send home 35,000 persons, they lose their jobs, what do you expect them to be? Rich, or they will become poorer? And that's what happened on the APNU. In the 5 years, the 7,000 sugar workers that they took away the jobs from, what do you think would happen to those people and their families? So they expressed surprise that we still have poverty. What happened in the mining sectors? Like in the bauxite industry, 1,000 workers lost their jobs there. 2,000 Amerindians were sent home. Many others, they increased the taxes on mining too. The tributers tax, the royalty rate, the VAT on machinery and equipment. Many, many people fell from the middle class into the ranks of the poor. And they make it seem as though we have all of this oil money now. But oil money is only 37% of the budget. 37%. We're spending more today on education, health, and roads and bridges than all the oil money in the budget. So when they come to you with these promises or wild statements, you have to be careful about it. That's one. Two, you hear a lot about leadership. So nobody believes APNU anymore. Nobody, they have meetings there, and you know they have a clever way of campaigning now. So they'll go with two persons to a community, the speaker and a person with a camera. And they put up a little platform and give a speech. Nobody is in the crowd, you know. They're not talking to anybody. And then they go and put it online and say, we had a meeting in Monrepo. The people showed me the picture. It's like two dogs, bored dogs lying down there watching them, right? They can't even generate interest in the dogs lying down on the road. And because nobody, including in their strongholds, including in many areas in Linden and South Georgetown, because they fool their supporters too, they fool young people, they fool everyone. And a lot of people are not buying that again. So we know that they're not going to make much of a difference in Region 6. They're not going to make much of a difference. But there's a clever game being played. I alluded to it at the rally. So Azruddin Mohammed, who ran into trouble with the United States government from the time the report was made by Reuters in April of 2023. An international report was published, and it says that the US government is investigating Azruddin Mohammed for gold smuggling, money laundering for Russian mafia, and cocaine smuggling from Colombia. They said also that the United States government will sanction him. What happened? A year later, he was sanctioned. So, what are the consequences of the sanction? Not PPP. PPP didn't sanction him. You know, he goes around saying Jagdeo and the PPP sanctioned him. It's not true. The consequences of the sanction are that people associated with him, they lose their visas. And now those who were stupid enough to put their names as his candidates, they're all losing their bank accounts because no local bank would risk their relationship with the United States. That means they can use their bank license. So he wants to get out of trouble. So he's been linked up with APNU. You saw the meetings he's been having with them. On the Essequibo Coast, his people are helping to build a tent for the APNU people's meeting. We caught him on camera. We caught them on camera doing this. So they know that the AFC can't come here anymore. And by the way, you know, APNU AFC is now 4 parties. So you have APNU, you have AFC, and then you have 2 other parties, one headed by Simona Brooms and another by Amanza Walton. They're 4 parties. They can't come here because they are part of the 2015-2020 government. So they need him to come to many communities like what Nagamotu and Ramjatan did and bring the messages. And what's his message? Oh, he's going to help people. He's going to help people. He wouldn't be able to help himself after the September 1 because he's going to get into big trouble with the United States government. They already signaled that. So it's not going to work. I know many of our people have seen through this. They know also that this guy is not, it's not a good thing to talk about people, but when you run your entire campaign on Facebook, and when your website says something like Azruddin Mohammed finished the University of Guyana. He's a good candidate, he has a degree. You know, Azruddin Mohammed never even finished his CXC. And everyone could see it because he hides from his own press conference. Look at it. You just look and follow what's going on. But on Facebook, he's the smartest person in the world. So people have to be careful about that. If you want to trust your children, do you want to trust the future of your children or your future in the hands of people like Norton or Azruddin Mohammed? Let me tell you, even if they had the best plans in the world, which they don't have, what experience do they have? In the APNU camp, they have a man named Mai Paul. Mai Paul is their vice presidential candidate. Mai Paul was a junior staff in the Ministry of Local Government. Didn't even run a department. Juretta Finance, who is their prime ministerial candidate, she was Nagamotu's secretary. And Norton had a designation but no office in the last government. Look at the three people. Compare that with Irfan Ali and Mark Phillips. Mark Phillips, our prime ministerial candidate, he ran the army. He commanded people. That's the type of leadership. Irfan Ali has a ton of experience. He was a minister in my cabinet for many years. He's been a leader on the world stage representing us at the United Nations, keeping our borders safe, leading with a great vision. Can you ever compare an Irfan Ali with that whole team? Not all of them put together have an iota of experience compared to Irfan Ali. And then Azruddin Mohammed, he was busy spending his father's money. That's what experience he has, and smuggling gold. Nothing. How can you ever risk the future of your children in the hands of these people? So there is only one choice in these elections, and that's the People's Progressive Party Civic. Only one choice. We have the plans, we have the track record, we have the experience, we have the leadership. We have been committed to the people of this country. We have always fought by their side. And so I have no doubt that I can count on all of you here tonight, that you not only come to the meeting, but ensure that we have a huge turnout, that every single voter matters. And the only way we can ensure that that happens is if all of you play your part on election day by bringing people out in vast numbers to ensure a major victory for the PPP. We have to vote early too, very, very early, because sometimes people go late to vote in the afternoon, and then the activists have to go and search for people and bring them out. If 80% of us vote by 10 o'clock, then it's easy. In the afternoon, we can then get the others out. I want to tell you a little story too. The last elections, they were trying to provoke the people of the East Coast. The night before the elections, I'd met with the Commonwealth Observer team. And you know, Owen Otter, the former Prime Minister of Barbados, was heading that team at that time. And Lowenfield was setting up polling stations for the area like in Fowles, which is our stronghold. They had to go to a neighboring village, Paradise, to vote. And a lot of people are saying, we will not go to vote there. So they were doing it deliberately. And then just one day before the elections, we managed to win that battle. And they started setting up new polling places in Fowles and in other areas on the East Coast. And they chose the most inhospitable places to set up these polling places. At Monrepo, they put them everywhere, tarmacs, etc. And people stood in the line from morning, some of them in the hot sun, women holding their babies, and they stayed there until 5 o'clock in the afternoon to vote, because they knew APNU teams were going out and trying to get them to go back home. And the East Coast brings in a large amount of votes too for us. And the people did not budge. They stood in the line all day long. We supplied them with water, etc. So I want that sort of resilience from you, because they knew what was at stake. They knew then if we didn't win, their lives would have been different. They would have suffered. Their children would have suffered. And I hope that many of you would be able to do that. So tonight, I'm asking all of you to ensure that you do that. Ensure that you come out. I am convinced that the PPP will win these elections, but we have to work hard to make that happen. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you very much.